What's going on, guys? This is your boy Mayo Jones here, back at with another video, and this time, we're gonna be doing our Week 18 recap of this week. We got a lot of topics to discuss, so I don't know how long this video is gonna be because we have a lot of topics to discuss, and we got a lot of things we gotta talk about and all that. So we're gonna get started. So basically, the first topic I want to talk about is the Steelers. Now, the Steelers are completely exposed. Now, I want to talk about the Steelers. Now, I want to talk about the Steelers are in trouble. And here's why the Steelers are in trouble. Now, here's the thing. Now, Steelers have lost their last 4 games of the regular season. And the Steelers are totally in a bad spot. And they look to be one and done in the playoffs. Which, here's what's going on with the Steelers right now. It's their offense, though. Their offense is slow. They cannot get things going. Now, the defense did keep them in the game against the Bengals. Now, it really did because they had to get a stop, and all of a sudden they had the ball back. And all of a sudden the Steelers couldn't really convert on third down. So all of a sudden when they went for it on fourth down, they didn't convert. And that's how the Bengals won that game. So you got to give the Bengals credit. So what's wrong with the Steelers is that they're in trouble and they choked the division because, like I said, if the Ravens win, they would win the division. But the Steelers end up losing this game. This is how the Steelers lost. The Steelers did lose because of their offense, though. Because sometimes it's really not the defense. Sometimes it's just your offense going 3 and out, 3 and out, and 3 and out. And all of a sudden, Russell Wilson, he's really not playing as good as he should be. Now the Steelers did have less total yards, though, and their running game has been okay, but the passing game has been inconsistent lately. George Pickens had 1 catch for only -2 yards because it was only a toss play to him because the Steelers' offense was totally beat up in this game a little bit. But the game was pretty close, though. And all of a sudden, the Steelers only allowed it 193 yards. They only had 193 yards today in that game. And they only converted on third down 4 times. Like, that's crazy. Like, how could you go 4 for 12 on third down and 0 for 2 on fourth down? Like, that's crazy. Like, the Steelers, all it did is start scoring touchdowns and just more field goals. All the Bengals kept doing, they didn't even score a lot of touchdowns. All of them were just field goals. Now, what I like to say to the Steelers team, they got to play the Ravens. And I don't know if I can see them beating the Ravens in the postseason because the Ravens are looking red hot right now. And the Steelers, they're totally on the downfall. And they're looking towards to regressing. But I don't even know if they can make a quarterback change because maybe they can switch back to Justin Fields. Who knows? But they only benched Justin Fields because Justin Fields wasn't really playing that good. And, all he does is runs around. And Russell Wilson seems like he fits this system better. So, yeah. So, I think the Steelers right now, I feel like they're totally in a bad spot right now in the playoffs. But good news that they did clinch a playoff berth. But I just don't see it. I don't know if I can see the Steelers going far in the postseason. I mean, a lot of people are going to be picking the Steelers to win the Super Bowl, but I'm going to tell you right here, I'm not. I'm saying I'm not taking them to win the Super Bowl because the reason why I don't think they can win the Super Bowl is because when you're playing against tough teams, you need to find another guy that can get open. I've been saying this. Steelers need another wide receiver. I mean, their receiving core outside of George Pickens is atrocious. Now, Pat Freiermuth is a really good receiving tight end. He's solid. And the running backs are okay. But the offensive line is not great. The defensive is pretty good. They got good pass rushers, good linebackers, good safeties, good corner, but they're soft at times, especially in the secondary when they're giving up big plays here and there. So, yeah, I think the Steelers are in trouble right now. but despite being in the playoffs, so we're probably gonna see if they can win a playoff game or not. Now I want to talk about the Bengals missing the playoffs again. Now the Bengals did miss the playoffs though for the second straight season in a row. Now this is back. Now that's missing the playoffs back to back, especially they did. Now here's why the Bengals have missed the playoffs. Now the Broncos end up beating the Chiefs, and they end up beating the Chiefs. Like, I didn't really expect that to happen. Well, we're going to talk about the Broncos in a second. Now, the Bengals did miss a playoff straight again. I want to give credit to the Bengals, for winning out because I was hoping they do that. Offensively, the Bengals have been pretty good recently. Joe Burrow's been playing at MVP level. The defense is playing really good. The defense has been very solid here and there. I like how the way they're playing as a team. But I don't even know the defense is going to be anything special. It may not be the same because they got a lot of awkward contracts to go. That's awkward contracts to work on. Because here's the thing, T. Higgins is going to be a free agent. Trey Henderson is going to be a free agent. So they have a lot of things to work on because now they're trying to figure out the future of their team for next season. Now, it's been tough for the Bengals to miss the playoffs for the second straight year in a row, especially them missing it back to back. That's just it's crazy for them. Like, you got Joe Burrow as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and now here's the thing: the defense have totally been regressing from a week to week basis. Like, the defense has been they have not been playing really at their best level. I did not like how the way their defense played over all year long. Like, their defense has been very bad this year. And all I like to say is that they did fire Big Lou. And here's why they did. Because, his defense was not really good. And he's not really doing a really good job scheming these players up. Like, he's not getting the guys developed. Like, his defense is not playing at the level it should be. He's letting offenses just thrive and run down their throne. Now, their defense has been really bad against the pass, and they've been really bad against the run recently. So, yeah. So, Bengals, I'm just hoping for next year that they can make the playoffs, but I hope they keep T. Higgins, hope they keep Trey Henderson because those guys had a breakout season. Jamar Chase actually had a breakout season as well. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to Cincinnati, next year, being a playoff team. So, yeah. I think the Bengals should be able to be back next year. Hopefully they do, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Now I want to talk about the Bears now. The Bears did upset the Packers, which they finally did. They finally got a win against the Packers. Now, I was a little worried that they were not going to win with a new coach, but here's the thing. I like what I saw what the Bears did. Now, the Bears defense has been playing really good as of recently. It's been great. Their offense has not been really good, but it did play better against the Packers. They were able to move the ball against them. Their defense was able to get some stops, especially with the Packers, with Jordan Love being out and Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, like some of their Packer players were ruled out of the game, their offensive players. Now, I want to talk about the Packers, how they losing back-to-back games. Now, this is kind of crazy for the Packers, especially them losing back-to-back. It kind of sucks. Now, they did lose to the Vikings. They lost a close game to the Vikings. And now they lost a close game against the Bears. Now, here's the thing. The Packers did spoil that comeback against the Bears. Now, here's the thing. Now, the Packers scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter, and they tried to go for 2-point conversion, but all of a sudden they didn't do it. They didn't get the 2-point conversion. So that's how they lost that game. Now, yeah, I give the Bears credit. I'm looking forward towards the future of Chicago. Now, it's been a rough year for Bears to not make the playoffs, but I'm hoping next year they can turn things around. Now, the Bears did fire Matt Eberflus. Thomas Brown was our new interim head coach, and he did get his first win. I mean, he has been getting his team prepared and ready for the last couple of weeks. So yeah. So basically, what I like to say about the Chicago Bears, I think the Bears, have proven, maybe they can be a good team next year. We don't know. I mean, Caleb Williams, he's been a little bit up and down, but I don't know if he's going to be close to being a top 10 guy because this year he really wasn't a top 10 quarterback this year. And he didn't earn that Rookie of the Year. So, yeah. So basically, I'm hoping for Bears for next year. And as far as I'm concerned, the Packers are just still frauds because now they got the 7 seed and they got to play against the Eagles. We're gonna see what they're gonna do. We're gonna see what the Packers can do next offseason. I mean, we're gonna see what they can do in the playoffs, but they may not win a playoff game because they have the bottom seed in the league. But I understand last year they ended up beating the Cowboys. Now I don't know if they're gonna be able to beat the Eagles though, because the Eagles are tough. So we're gonna see. Now the next topic I want to talk about, the Falcons loss. What? The Falcons did lose to the Panthers. Now here's the thing. Because here's the thing. Here's why the Falcons have lost. Here's the thing. Offensively, they really had a good performance here. Now, Michael Penix did really play it okay. He had a good stat. I mean, he put up big numbers. I mean, 312 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and an interception. He was 21 for 38. He outplayed Bryce Young. Bryce Young had 251 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Drake London had a good game. Bijan Robinson had a good game. I like how the way the Falcons offense. I like how the way the Falcons did play as an offense. They were running the ball. They were passing the ball. Like, how could you lose to the Panthers, dude? The Panthers are like one of the worst teams in the league. Like, how could you lose to the Panthers, dude? I mean, here's the thing. They just let Bryce Young just look pretty decent out there. They made him look like the next great quarterback out there. Like Bryce Young, I mean, he's been playing good, but he's been terrible. And all of a sudden, they just let Bryce Young just light them up. Like, basically, how could you lose to the Panthers? I've been saying the Carolina Panthers are like one of the worst teams in the league. Like, they're terrible. Like, how could you lose to the Panthers? I mean, the Falcons, good offensive performance, but the defense of Atlanta was putrid. It was terrible. I mean, that's the only reason why they only lost to Carolina. I mean, Carolina's defense is really not good. Like, basically, the Panthers' defense couldn't really stop the run of the Falcons because they only allowed 200 rushing yards, over 200 rushing yards to the Falcons. Like, what? And the Falcons literally have 536. The Falcons really had 31 first downs. They were 9 for 14 on third down, 2 for 3 on fourth down, 537 total yards. Like, 32 minutes of possession, and the Panthers have 34 minutes of possession. Like, how do you have 31 first downs and 227 rushing yards to 310 passing yards, and then 537 total yards to 425, and you just lose? What? Like, I don't really want to talk about it anymore. Like, it's just so disgusting. Like, how could you lose when you have the most total yards? Like, the Panthers defense, like I said, is a disaster, and and all of a sudden they allotted 500 total yards to the Falcons. And the Falcons literally had a chance to win that game, but they only lost by 1 score. I mean, they could have at least won if their defense didn't choke. Like, the Panthers have been playing better, and you just allow 44 points to them? What? That's crazy. I don't really know what to say about this team. I mean, I'm done. Like, as for now, thanks to the Falcons, I mean, good luck next year. Hope the Falcons can run it back next year. It's just been a tough year for them. Now I want to talk about the Bucks. Now the Bucks are legit. Now here's why the Bucks are legit. Now here's the thing. The Bucks have won their last 2 games. They've won their last 2 games, and on top of that, you know, the Bucks. I like how the way they played as of lately. Um, in the first half against the Saints, they were a little sloppy, and all of a sudden they end up coming back. Against Carolina, they were able to shut them out completely. Um, Baker Mayfield looks like the next great quarterback to me because I like how the way the Bucks are playing as an offense, and as a defense, I like how the way they're playing on defense as well. Um, Defensively, they're not as good, but they're playing better. Um, Mike Evans seems like he's one of the best receivers. They have a good running game. Bucky Irvin looks to be the next great running back. Um, Kate Alden's a solid tight end. Yeah, and the Bucks, they clinched the playoffs again and won the division. Um, we're gonna see what they can do in the playoffs because they have to play against the Commanders. Um, we're gonna see what happens. Um, the Bucks offense, they look like a contender though. So I like how the way they're playing right now, and they're playing better than the Falcons, and they pretty much have the best defense in that division as well. So yeah, and Todd Bowles one of the best schemers in football, one of the best defensive coaches in football. So yeah, and especially without their offensive coordinator, I mean the Bucks' offensive play calling has been really good as of lately. So yeah, the Bucks are legit, but I don't know if they can make the Super Bowl though. But we're gonna probably see about that. Now I want to talk about the Patriots now. The Patriots did fire Gerard Mayo. Now here's why they fired Gerard Mayo. Now here's the thing. He wasn't a really good coach, and they really wasn't winning any games. Like, I don't know why they fired him. Now here's the thing. The Patriots have not been a great team since Tom Brady left and Mac Jones left. So yeah. And here's the thing. The Patriots offense was not really good as of recently. Like, they struggled to score some points. But yeah, the Patriots offense kind of played okay against the Bills. Like, they found a way to win that game. Defensively, they're playing better, but they're soft at times. But Gerard Mayo was probably the reason why they fired. I don't even know why they fired. Maybe because they weren't winning. Maybe because of coaching. I mean, their coaching was really bad as of recently, though. I mean, he didn't really do a good job so far. Um, I feel like he didn't really had a good off season. He didn't sign a lot of free agents, a lot of good players. He bringing in wash up guys. Um, I'm looking towards the Patriots this offseason. Like, will they make the play? Will they be able to turn the season around? Who knows? They end up winning 5 games this year. So I wouldn't look for the Patriots to draft a quarterback because I feel like Drake May could be their future. I would build an offense around him and probably support him with a couple of weapons like Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne. Like, I'll look to add another receiver. Because their receiving core is not great. So yeah, I think the Patriots, firing Mayo, I don't really know why. Maybe coaching was probably the reason why they had to let him go. And Robert Kraft, the Patriots do have a bad organization, and they didn't really find a way to So, yeah, so that's why the reason why they fired him because of coaching. I don't know what to say about this, but I don't think I have nothing to say about this. I feel like the patrons, they had to fire Mayo because of coaching and because the offense was not good. I mean, they can't even score a lot of points. So yeah, I think the patrons, that's pretty much why they fired Mayo. Now, next thing I want to talk about is the Broncos are back. Now they're back in the playoffs. Now that's some good news to watch. Now, as you can tell, the Broncos did win. They did beat the Chiefs, which that's good. They did beat them by a lot. Now they really did shut out the Chiefs. Now the Chiefs didn't really have their starters though, and Carson Wentz was pretty bad. Like he was though. Like he couldn't do nothing out there. Like basically though, the Chiefs offense, the only reason why the Broncos won this game because the Chiefs offense were a little sloppy though. Now the Chiefs only had like 5 first downs, and the Broncos had 29 first downs. And the Chiefs only allowed it 479 yards to the Broncos, and the Broncos allowed the Chiefs 98 total yards. Like I've never seen a team that allow under 100 yards in the final game. Like I've never seen that before. And literally, the Chiefs only allowed 41 minutes of possession. So yeah, that's how I think the Broncos did win that game, though. Now, Bo Nix did play his best game with 4 passing touchdowns. Um, this guy can totally be my rookie of the year. I mean, he's playing out of his mind. I like how the way he's playing right now. I feel like this guy looks to be a stud at quarterback. So yeah, I like how the way the offense is playing. Um, I would look to build an offense around Bo Nix in the offseason. I'll support him with a couple weapons like Cortland Sutton. Like, I'll look to add another receiver to go along with him. Maybe if Marvin Mims can be the guy, I don't know if he's the guy. Maybe he can, I don't know. So, yeah. So, basically, I feel like the Broncos are back in the playoffs, but I don't know if they can win a playoff game because they have to go on the road to face against Buffalo. So, yeah. So, basically, yeah, I like the Broncos this year, and I think the Broncos are truly a contender this year. I mean, they're truly a playoff contender this year. I mean, they're finding ways to win games, especially close one, and they're blowing teams out. And especially the defense has been one of the best in football. They're pressuring guys. They're not giving up big plays. They're not allowing them to run them over. Their secondary's holding up. You might as well give Vance Joseph credit and give Sean Payton credit for the coaching. So yeah, the Broncos are back in the playoffs. So yeah. Now, next team I want to talk about is the Dolphins lost. Now, the Dolphins did lose to the Jets, and they will be missing the NFL playoffs this year. Now, here's the thing. Now, Dolphins literally didn't have Tua. And here's the thing. Um Here's why the Dolphins have lost the game. Now, here's why they lost the game. Now, here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers outplayed Huntley. He did. He outplayed Tyler Huntley. Now, the Jets did have their best offensive performance. Um, Aaron Rodgers was totally having his best game. Like, the Jets are really not a great team. And all of a sudden, the Dolphins end up losing. Like, how could they lose to the Jets, bro? Like, how? Like, the Jets weren't a great team, especially on offense and on defense. And especially the Dolphins' offense literally did struggle to get something going a little bit. And, the defense couldn't really stop a nosebleed. Like, how? Like, the Jets' defense has been very pathetic. And all of a sudden, the Dolphins really had the most rushing yards, and Devon Achane had a good game. Shout out to him having a good game. Um, 2 picks against the Jets, like that's just crazy. Like, how could you lose to the Jets? Like the Jets, like I said, one of the worst teams in the league, and I mean they're so terrible. How could you lose to this team? Like the Jets were not making the playoffs though. The Dolphins had to win to get to the playoffs. I said about the Falcons, like they needed to win. I mean the Dolphins had to win to get to the playoffs. All they had to just do is have the Broncos or Bengals lose and they're totally in. But that didn't work because the Broncos end up destroying the Chiefs. Like, man, like I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm done. Like, as for now, you might as well say thanks to Miami Dolphins, thanks to the Fins. Hope they can run it back next year. I mean, it's just been a tough year for them, especially they've been dealing with injuries, and especially with Tua missing a lot of time early in the season due to a concussion, and also he came back. So yeah, so the Dolphins, hopeful for next year. Hopefully they can work something out. But I feel like the Tyreek Hill drama is going on. Like I heard him saying that he's out of Miami because of the playoff exit. Like who cares about saying you're out, knowing that you want to leave Miami because you have a playoff exit. I mean, that's just crazy. I've never seen a player say that they were out after a playoff exit. Like that's crazy. I never seen it before. So yeah, so Dolphins, they're done. Now I want to talk about the Vikings versus the Lions game. Now, here's the thing about the Vikings and Lions game. Now, I want to talk about this matchup now. I like how the way the Lions did play as an offense as of lately. Um Jahmyr Gibbs, he scored 4 times. He had a night. Um basically basically the Lions did run the ball better than the Vikings. They really did. I mean, the Vikings can really run the ball okay as much. Like the Lions defense really found a way to keep the Vikings out of the end zone. Now, Sam Darnold, he did miss some throws, but I wouldn't blame it on him. But the Vikings offense did not play really good. Like basically Sam Darnold, he did miss some throws. Um Offensively, they didn't have their best performance. They couldn't really run the ball okay. Like their defense was totally getting shredded a little bit, and the Lions kind of really have an advantage on offense. Jared Goff did play okay, but he did have some turnovers and had missed opportunities. But yeah, but I feel like that Sam Darnold, he did had a terrible performance. Like he did play. Jared Goff did look better than Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold only had 166 yards and he was 18 for 41. So basically, he wasn't good. Um. So yeah. So Sam Darnold, I don't know if I can trust him in the playoffs as of recently though, because I know this is the first time he has again in his career. Now the Lions give a shout to them winning the division again and clinching that 1 seed. So yeah. So good luck in the playoffs for both these teams. Last topic I want to talk about is the Raiders firing Antonio Pierce. Now it's been a lot of firing coaches going on. Now here's the reason why the Raiders did fire Antonio Pierce. Now here's the thing: the Raiders really wasn't winning. That's pretty much why. And all of a sudden, they won back-to-back games after losing on a losing streak, and now they lost that game to the Chargers. Now the Raiders, especially their offense is totally not good. I mean, defensively they're okay, but they get ran on at times. Um, Their quarterback position is probably the reason why, but their offense is not really clicking, and they've been struggling to get things going. And it has been bad since Devontae Adams have left the building. Um, the Raiders, this organization could be terrible. Now, Antonio Pierce was trying to say he wants to win, but him not winning is probably the reason why that. Because I don't even know why. Maybe he's the reason why that they're really not winning. Because I thought he was going to be the greatest coach. He was going to be a good coach, but he didn't really do enough to at least, you know, this season, to lead the team in some wins. Because after that win against the Browns, they just kept on losing, which that's terrible, though. He didn't really do a good job coaching because maybe the play calling was bad. Like, basically, offensively and defensively, the play calling was terrible this year. Maybe that's why. The Raiders' run game has not been great this year. Their passing offense has not been great, but give a shout out to Brock Bowers for putting up big numbers and setting up a rookie record. He looks to be a next great tight end. Offensive line is a little shaky. The defense, they're shaky with some injuries. Hope they bring back Wilkins and Crosby back, which that's huge. I would look to improve in the secondary a little more for the Raiders. I mean, they have a lot of changes they have to make this offseason to improve this team. I would look to get a better coach and get some interview with some coaches. So, yeah. Like, the Raiders, they probably didn't really have any personnel or something. Maybe that's why they have not been winning. I don't know if that's the reason, but yeah, it's been tough for the Raiders. I mean, moving on from Antonio Pierce kind of stinks, but I want him there long. I was hoping he stays long term, but that really wasn't the case. So yeah. Well, those are all my Week 18 reactions for this week. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget, if you disagree with me, just let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Well, this is Emmanuel Jones from Big Fan. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later, and also don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos. So yeah, again, it's your boy Emmanuel Jones, Big Fan. Thank you for watching. See you guys later. Peace.